And we're back once again with more from Smetana's suite of symphonic tone poems, translated as My Country. Thank you again to Michaela for the CD. And the next one is again written in Czech on this release, but is translated as From Bohemia's Woods and Fields, or I think alternatively, From Bohemia's Fields and Groves. Same difference as my brother used to say. And yes, it gives us a sense of a more rural and perhaps pastoral sound, and yet, of course, woods in a lot of older cultural narratives and traditions are places of danger, places of mystery, and perhaps supernatural powers, so I would not be surprised if there's a bit of tension or even peril or calamity in some of the sections. I would imagine, as with the three we've heard already, that there is a dynamic, multi-section story that will unfold and be told in the tone poem. So yes, let's give it a listen. This is Smetana. The tune translates to From Bohemia's Forests and Fields, and it is part of the larger suite of tone poems that is referred to as My Country, performed by the Collegium 1704 and conducted by Vaclav Luks. it's... I don't know what to say. Yeah, that was a journey. Just the powerful writing of these tone poems, and maybe this one in particular, using the different parts of the orchestra with vigor, with dynamic incorporation, arrangement, the different sections going from tension-filled and dramatic to smooth to soft and sprightly to more rich and melodic to suddenly fiery again. And maybe this tone poem more than the previous three, he never let you feel comfortable in any one of those idioms for too long. The moment you begin to feel relaxed, like you're in a calm and tranquil field, suddenly there's danger, suddenly there's a rich sense of scope and scale, suddenly there's a bit of tension again, and then a triumphant feel. It really just kept cycling through the emotions, and what I suppose the overriding feeling I got was definitely the sense of scope, the idea that, you know, the wilderness and the fields and the forests are extensive and a rich part of this landscape, but also that they are untamed, they are wild, and things can surprise you, things can become dangerous, or, you know, speak to fears and the unknown, even as you are in your own, like, natural environment. So yes, it felt like the lush physical landscape, but also the rich resources in terms of the, you know, the cultural and the oral tradition significance of these forests, of these fields, of these groves, as well as, again, their wild character relative to villages or towns or fortifications where humans have controlled the environment. So all of that came across. I do find it an incredibly impactful tone poem, and one that, like, I feel like I needed to take a huge breath once it finished. So yes, incredible. I loved it. 2 more to go. I'm very much looking forward to the last couple, and I'll see you for the next one in a moment. Peace.